Translational research and practice, collaborating with research institutions and laboratories. Translational research involves translating scientific discoveries made in the laboratory, basic research, into practical applications that can benefit patients in a clinical setting. In reproductive medicine, this process can involve developing new fertility treatments, improving existing procedures, and understanding the underlying mechanisms of infertility. To achieve this, collaboration with research institutions and laboratories is essential for bringing together the necessary expertise, resources, and technology to ensure successful outcomes. 1. The role of collaboration in translational research. Collaboration between research institutions, laboratories, and clinical settings plays a pivotal role in the success of translational research. Bringing together researchers with diverse skills and knowledge ensures that the findings from basic science are effectively applied to patient care. Some of the key areas where collaboration is essential include: A. Basic research and clinical application. Translational research requires the seamless integration of basic research focused on understanding fundamental biological processes with clinical practice focused on treating patients. Researchers in basic science often work on identifying molecular, genetic, and cellular mechanisms of infertility, while clinicians use that knowledge to develop diagnostic tools and treatments. For example, research on the genetic causes of polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, or endometriosis can inform the development of targeted therapies for these conditions. B. Sharing resources and expertise. Collaboration between research institutions and laboratories provides access to specialized resources, such as advanced imaging technologies, genetic testing platforms, and clinical trial expertise. This allows both researchers and clinicians to leverage the latest tools and technologies to improve fertility treatments. Laboratories often have access to biological samples, e.g., sperm, eggs, embryos, and technologies, e.g., CRISPR for gene editing, which can be used to validate and test clinical hypotheses, ultimately translating them into practical therapies. C. Cross-disciplinary collaboration. Effective translational research in reproductive medicine requires the involvement of professionals from various disciplines. This may include biologists, geneticists, clinicians, bioinformaticians, ethicists, and biotech experts. By collaborating with multiple research institutions and laboratories, they can work together to design better clinical trials, validate treatment protocols, and address the complex issues that arise in reproductive health. 2. How collaboration between research institutions and laboratories advances reproductive medicine. Collaboration between research institutions and laboratories is essential for the following reasons. A. Accelerating the development of new treatments. Researchers in academic institutions often focus on basic scientific discovery, such as identifying new biomarkers for fertility or exploring how stem cells can be used for ovarian regeneration. Laboratories can help develop these findings into clinical applications by conducting experiments, genetic screening, and preclinical testing. For example, stem cell research on ovarian tissue has shown promise for women with diminished ovarian reserve. Collaborating with fertility clinics and laboratories allows researchers to test these findings in clinical settings and potentially offer new treatments to patients. B. Expediting clinical trials. Collaboration with research institutions and laboratories can facilitate the design and implementation of clinical trials to test the effectiveness and safety of new treatments. For instance, clinical trials for new ART techniques, such as genetic screening for embryos, PGT, can be developed in collaboration with research labs that can provide the necessary technology for genetic testing. Partnerships also help to streamline recruitment of participants for clinical trials by connecting researchers with fertility clinics that already have a large pool of patients. C. Sharing data for better outcomes. Collaborative partnerships enable the sharing of data and findings from both clinical practice and laboratory research. This exchange of information helps identify patterns, refine hypotheses, and develop evidence-based protocols. Data collected from clinical trials can help researchers adjust their approach to studies, ensuring that findings are relevant to real-world patient outcomes. Data sharing also plays a crucial role in the development of predictive models for fertility treatment success, including predicting IVF outcomes based on genetic markers. D. Enhancing innovation through multi-institutional collaboration. Working across institutions fosters a culture of innovation. When multiple labs and institutions share knowledge, they can solve complex reproductive health problems faster. For example, collaborative research in the development of new hormone therapies or gene editing techniques could lead to innovative treatments for unexplained infertility or genetic disorders. 3. Key areas of focus in collaborative translational research in reproductive medicine. A. Genetic and genomic research. Collaborating with genetic research institutions is crucial in understanding the genetic causes of infertility and reproductive health disorders. By pooling expertise from geneticists and clinicians, researchers can identify new genes associated with conditions such as polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS, male infertility, and genetic causes of miscarriage. Genetic findings can then be translated into pre-implantation genetic testing, PGT, which helps clinicians select the healthiest embryos for IVF, reducing the risk of passing on genetic disorders. B. Stem cell research and regenerative medicine. Stem cell research has significant potential in fertility treatments, including ovarian tissue regeneration, sperm production, and improving egg quality. By collaborating with laboratories that specialize in stem cell culture and differentiation, clinical researchers can explore the practical application of stem cells in treating infertility, offering new hope for patients with limited reproductive options. For example, studies using stem cells to generate artificial ovaries or sperm can be translated into clinical practice, offering treatments for those who suffer from infertility due to cancer treatments or genetic conditions. C. Endometriosis and polycystic ovary syndrome, PCOS research. Endometriosis and PCOS are common causes of infertility. Researchers studying the biological underpinnings of these conditions can collaborate with fertility clinics to develop new treatments, such as drugs to regulate hormone levels or genetic therapies to treat underlying causes. Collaborative research can lead to improved diagnostic tools, enabling earlier detection of these conditions and more effective individualized treatment plans. D. Enhancing IVF and ART techniques. Advances in IVF technology can be accelerated through collaborations with research labs focusing on embryology, genetics, and cell biology. For instance, collaborations can lead to innovations in embryo culture techniques, egg freezing, and embryo cryopreservation, all of which have become essential tools in fertility treatments. Collaborating with research institutions can also help in the optimization of ovarian stimulation protocols or the development of more precise sperm selection techniques for ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection. 4. Barriers to effective collaboration between research institutions and laboratories. While collaboration offers many benefits, several challenges need to be overcome to ensure successful integration of research findings into clinical practice. A. Funding and resources. Funding is often a significant barrier to collaborative translational research. Grants from government agencies, private organizations, and industry partners are required to support clinical trials, lab research, and the development of new treatments. Limited funding may slow the progress of collaborative studies, especially when costs are high for laboratory testing or clinical trial recruitment. B. Regulatory and ethical challenges. Collaborative research in reproductive medicine must comply with ethical standards and regulatory guidelines to protect patient rights and ensure safety. Navigating these regulations can be time-consuming and requires clear communication between institutions and laboratories. Ethical concerns also arise when conducting research on human embryos, stem cells, and genetic modifications, necessitating rigorous ethical review processes. C. Intellectual property and data sharing. Collaboration between institutions often involves the sharing of intellectual property, for example, research discoveries and technology patents, which can create complications regarding ownership and profits from innovations. Clear agreements must be made between partners about how IP and data are managed, ensuring that research findings are disseminated freely while protecting the rights of those involved. D. Communication and coordination. Effective collaboration requires clear communication and coordination between researchers, clinicians, and laboratories. Differences in timelines, priorities, and goals can impede the translation of research findings into clinical practice. Strong leadership and organizational structures are needed to align efforts and ensure that research is implemented in a timely and efficient manner. 5. Conclusion. Collaboration between research institutions and laboratories is crucial for advancing reproductive medicine. By combining expertise in basic science, clinical research, and technological development, new fertility treatments can be developed and validated. While challenges exist, successful collaboration can lead to groundbreaking advancements in the understanding and treatment of infertility, ultimately benefiting patients worldwide. Translating research findings into clinical practice through interdisciplinary partnerships is essential for improving reproductive health care and offering new hope to individuals and couples struggling with fertility issues.